as little and stupid as things like this might seem, it might actually be a big friggin' clue. We just have to connect it. We have to connect it to something else before it's relevant. Because by itself, it's nothing. By itself, it's an absolute nothing. But you never know what can evolve from something like this. So guys, definitely
use your sticky bombs. Blow stuff up. See what
you get.
You know, if one side of
Sign.
or one side of an object has a pattern on it like that, try the other side.
It is as good as it gets. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Wipe off your sweat, forget your regrets. This is the end. Well, if this is the end, then I guess we begin to trust and pretend that this is as good as it gets.
What is going on, everybody? Thank you so much for jumping in to this video today. My name is Danny ColdBlood, aka MusicVidiot, and in this episode we are going to get down and dirty, completely filthy within the Chiliad Mystery. As you probably noticed, this video started off with a clip from one of my older videos. I was investigating the Ring of Fire Chili House. Now, I purposely put the date on the screen to show you guys that it was almost 1 year ago that I did this. But at the time, my hunting skills weren't as developed as they are now, and I also let people get into my head. You know, I seen some stuff and I had a gut instinct, man, that there was something going on here, but people were telling me, no, it's a glitch and this and that, and I had a gut instinct, and here we are a year later. Always trust your gut. It can be frustrating if you don't. As you just seen, Trevor is also frustrated, but we do have to give ourselves a pat on the back. We as a community have been moving so fast, progressing so far within this mystery, we just need that one big break to solve this thing. But what are we looking for?
It's a bit, well, like pornography or a perfect turd. I can't quite describe it, but I'll know it when I see it.
Well done, Mr. Phillips. I don't think I could have said that better myself. For you guys that don't know about this and didn't see the video from a year ago, basically you can throw sticky bombs. I'm sure any explosives will work, okay? And if you throw it at the Ring of Fire Chili House sign, you'll get this crazy type of pattern, okay? This is not normal, okay? Places don't leave patterns like this when you blow them up, okay? And it reminds me of like a sun symbol. Now, we have been really digging deep in astrology lately, so it's really, really good that we're coming back to investigate this place once again. Now, you guys know Rockstar. They're very clever. Sometimes they hide their clues very obscurely, and sometimes they throw them in our face. Good thing I was able to pick up on this clue right here. I was playing online, and one of the missions was called Ring of Fire. And that sparked this whole entire investigation. So, after I emptied my entire bank account on sticky bombs, I realized there's nothing else I can do there. Let me check the surrounding areas. And right around the corner, we have a picture of Einstein on the wall. And that's where this investigation of mine really started to pick up, because I was doing some investigating at the observatory and I had just seen Einstein on their website, the Real Life Observatory. The Griffith Observatory has Einstein right there, so I decided to check out more of the website. I seen planets, I seen Uranus, not Uranus, but Uranus, you guys got it. And then I seen this big mama right here. The Ring of Fire. You have got to be kidding me. When I seen this, I was thrown for a loop. You get it? Ring of Fire, loop, ring, loop. Anyway, I knew at that point that this was not some bullshit. Like, it was not just funny patterns on a sign anymore. Okay, we're not in Kansas anymore, guys. We're not in Kansas anymore. Okay, when I seen this, I knew my gut instinct from a year ago was actually right. It's a shame that my hunting skills weren't as developed back then as they are now. So let's go ahead and read this passage. It says, The Ring of Fire encircles the Pacific Ocean basin from New Zealand up through Japan, around to North America, and down to nearly the tip of Chile. The tip of Chile. This is definitely not just a gut instinct anymore. It's not just a cool pattern on a sign anymore. We are starting to see the connections stack on top of themselves, okay? And not only do we have Chile in the Ring of Fire Chili house, okay, but we have a Chili's tip sticking through that sign. Or should I say, a tip of Chile.
Like for a few seconds, I saw everything and it all made sense! You know what I mean? Like everything!
The problem for me, being a hunter in this mystery, I felt like we were moving, like, very fast. We were progressing, we were finding new things, and, like, we were going faster than ever before, but at the same time, I had a million unanswered questions. Like, okay, are we gonna have a natural disaster? Everything points to one, but it all says it happened in the past. It's already in the newspapers. Like, that doesn't make sense. And, you know, I had a whole bunch of other stuff. Shadows over here, and pictures over there, and dialogues over here. Like, we were moving forward in my eyes, but we still had a lot of unanswered material. This second time around at the Ring of Fire, okay, really changed everything for me. Everything started to connect. I cannot believe it was right there the whole time. Like, I don't know how else to show you guys this. So I had to sit down and paint because I don't know how to use any other kind of programs on the computer, like Adobe or anything. I don't know what I'm doing. So I had to sit down and paint and literally make pages like this and just connect everything. So bear with me on that, guys. If you need to pause the video at any time, please do. It's for your benefit because I want you to leave this video today understanding, not having a million unanswered questions, really having a good idea of what the frig is going on in the Chiliad Mystery. So let's start with what brought us here. The Ring of Fire. Not the digital chili house in a video game. I'm talking about real life. The Ring of Fire in real life is an area that is shaped like a horseshoe and it's prone to get hit with nasty earthquakes. Okay, it's killed thousands of people, and it just so happens that Chile and L.A., okay, L.A., the location that we played Grand Theft Auto 5 in, happens to be on this Ring of Fire. Now, you'll see on the page there's certain words or phrases that might stick out to you, like Meltdown, okay? Rockstar threw this shit in our face a lot. They used so many real life, like, names, and they named shit in their game after it. And we had no idea. But it just took a little bit of the right research on the right clue, and it just fell together for me. So I'm so happy to be able to share this with you guys. Just the other day, Rockstar gave us this Meltdown shirt, and I seen it as a clue because me and a couple other hunters have been talking a lot about different things tied to Meltdown, and it just so happens that that is one of the terms Rockstar took from real life and decided to name a movie in their game. So either that's a coincidence or we're on the right track. The plates that make up the Earth's crust move slowly over time. Most earthquakes occur along the boundaries between these plates. The San Andreas Fault, for example, is the boundary between two plates sliding slowly past each other. Dozens of smaller faults branch out from the San Andreas. Okay? Their movements produce earthquakes that shake Californians every single day. And you can see that Rockstar made sure that the fault line is in Grand Theft Auto 5. Roughly 90% of all earthquakes occur along the Ring of Fire. Okay, and the Ring of Fire isn't just volcanoes. There's ocean trenches. Guys, there's volcanoes underwater. Okay, and it almost gives an odd but cool looking mirror effect when you see it shooting out of the water with the water's reflection showing the eruption. It's pretty crazy, guys. Pretty crazy. The Pacific Rim isn't just home to the Ring of Fire. It's home to hundreds of millions of people, and they live in the shadow of impending disaster. There was no more dramatic example of the dangers of natural disasters in and around the Ring of Fire than the December 2004 tsunami that swept across the Indian Ocean following a large undersea earthquake estimated at above 9 on the Richter scale. Okay, the Richter scale's that thing that measures earthquake magnitudes, guys. It only goes from 1 to 10, and that hit a 9. Okay, it killed about 230,000 people. Okay, that actually sounds kind of familiar. Something in GTA 5 that says something similar to that, actually. Another example, guys, in 2011, an undersea earthquake triggered another tsunami that struck northeastern Japan and destroyed a major nuclear reactor. I wonder who the unlucky chum is that has to go in a submarine and pick all that stuff up from the ocean floor. It looks like Rockstar took that exact situation and put it in GTA 5. That's what the newspaper is, and here are the connections in case you guys want to check it out. For a long time now, I have not been able to decide if I think there's going to be a tsunami, or if I think it's going to be an earthquake, or if I think it's going to be a volcano, and I really want to see a tsunami, but all of the evidence that I've been finding for the past month or so has been really pointing to volcano. And when I started researching this, I finally seen what I believe the clues are showing. I believe that Rockstar has an underwater volcano that's going to erupt. I think it's gonna shift the plates, okay, of the earth. I think the earthquake is going to cause the tsunami, and I think that's what's gonna happen, and that's what's gonna wipe us out, okay? All the clues that we've seen so far, the newspapers, I mean, all that stuff, you can see the connections. They're connected directly to the game, explaining all the questions that we are having, okay? And if you look at this one right here, it explains that a seamount is a large underwater mountain, okay? And it's at least 1,000 meters above the ocean floor. Seamounts are usually isolated and are volcanic in origin. Now we do know that Chiliad, the word Chiliad means 1,000 or a group of 1,000. And in real life, it's possible, very possible, that Mount Chiliad is supposed to be Mount Shasta, okay, in real life. I see a lot of connections and reasons why, you know, Rockstar would use Mount Shasta. First of all, it's the 5th highest peak in California, and this is Grand Theft Auto 5, but, you know, it is a potentially active volcano, okay? And the people that actually service the area are called the Shasta Trinity, okay? The Shasta Trinity, alright? When we leave the sawmill, okay, and we save Lamar, and Lamar and Franklin are driving back from the sawmill, Lamar calls Franklin, Michael, and Trevor the Unholy Trinity. So there's a bunch of connections that I see, and I believe that Mount Shasta is Mount Chiliad, and Mount Chiliad is Mount Shasta, but what really, you know, stands out is that Mount Shasta's a volcano. And this whole time I'm trying to find, you know, the peak of the volcano on Mount Chiliad, when really Mount Chiliad being the volcano was just the clue, okay? I had to broaden my search to find out that there's underwater volcanoes that can cause earthquakes, which will induce the tsunami, which is a badass natural disaster. Now that I'm getting a better understanding, I'm seeing how obvious it really all is. I mean, the whole nuke at the bottom of the ocean is right next to Mount Chiliad. I mean, connect the dots, guys.
Hey man, so got the thing. What is it?
We'll know what it is when we can run some tests.
Well, what it look like? What you think it is?
Best guess it was hooked into the rock, maybe on a fault line, so could be a seismic suppressor to combat earthquakes and tsunamis. Or, no, potentially it's like a fusion reactor running on seawater.
Like nuclear?
Yeah, the good kind of nuclear.
Do you know what you've done? The wire is going fucking crazy.
Oh, and good to see you too.
I always thought it was strange how Lester just shows up after you complete that heist. I mean, he usually just contacts you by phone. But Rockstar had him show up. See, they did everything so precise. Everything was planned out, okay? They had him show up because his name is involved in submersible explorations of underwater volcanoes, okay? Guys, Rockstar knows what they're doing. They did their homework, and we gotta do ours. Because I never would have known this if I didn't start looking shit up. Even Nico from GTA 4 is connected, okay? The Nico volcano. It's at the bottom there. Guys, this is just ridiculous, okay? The Ring of Fire, I'm sure you guys still see its name on almost all these pages. Okay, it's not like I'm going off on a wild tangent somewhere. We're still staying on topic, which is the Ring of Fire. It just so happens that that is a huge, dominant clue to this whole entire natural disaster situation. Hopefully you guys have been seeing the connections, and by now should have a fairly good idea and understanding of how a tsunami can be started. You got volcanoes, you got earthquakes, you got underwater volcanoes, but I don't want you guys to lose sight of all the recent discoveries within this mystery. Most of them have been pointing to astrology, and that is still very, very important, because it's very easy to get lost off in your own theories and ideas when hunting in this mystery, okay? You gotta go with the facts, and astrology plays along with the facts, okay? I'm not saying that the volcanoes and underwater volcanoes don't. I believe they're just as important, okay? But you gotta look at both sides and figure out and do more investigations to see which one we think it's gonna be and which ones are dualities, you know, being used as clues. But basically, the story mode is all about the midlife crisis. Guys, it is constantly, I'm replaying the story right now, and every single word out of these people's mouths, okay, all the dialogue in the game is basically midlife crisis, midlife crisis. And we know that midlife crisis is also known as the Uranus or Uranus opposition, okay? If you guys caught my rare car videos, then you will see on the left there is a felon, okay, with a peacock. Now, a felon is something that you would be if you committed Grand Theft Auto, and the peacock is actually a connection directly to astrology. It says the moon, which has just set below the horizon over California, is conjoined to the fixed star Peacock, okay? This is all interesting, guys. It's all connected, and it's all starting to make more and more sense as the research goes on, and hopefully for you as the video goes on. I think I have a good idea of how we've been tied up in this mystery and why it's taking so long. I mean, we are catching on and finding the clues fast, okay? That's not the problem. But we seem to be utilizing those clues in the wrong way, okay? Like, for example, all of us see this picture practically every time we put the game in, alright? But, you know, instead of seeing the clue, you know, the water in the background and saying, okay, what is that telling me? Oh, maybe it's a tsunami. Maybe we should look at what it's really showing us. And the tide. You can see the waves. You know what I mean? So I'm just giving an example, okay? We take the right clues, but we go in the wrong directions with them a lot. So I'm gonna give you guys an example right now of some ways we do that with a very, very common picture in the game. Would you believe me if I told you that almost everything that we've covered so far in this video is tied directly to this picture? Like, if we would have seen the clues and utilized them correctly, we would have learned everything that we've learned up to this point, if not more. If you take a look at her tattoo, it says upwards flows the truth form. Now, if you read it the way you're supposed to read it, it makes complete sense, okay? Upwards flows, okay? And it's linked to the picture of the underwater volcano. And the underwater volcano is erupting, okay? And that's gonna cause the natural disaster, in my opinion, okay? That's gonna cause the tsunami, okay? And basically when it flows upwards, the truth forms, okay? The truth starts to take shape, like the answer appears, basically is what this means. And it's not just my theory, guys, I'm showing this to you with hard evidence backing this up. I've first of all showed you tons of connections up to this point, showing you how Rockstar has incorporated all of this. And underwater volcanoes is not even an option. It was something I never even thought of before I started doing this kind of research for this Ring of Fire, okay? But look at the up and atom symbol over there, okay? It's basically the horseshoe shape that the Ring of Fire is in, okay? Below it is a store that's just conveniently named Tsunami. Something that happens if the volcano were to flow upward. I mean, come on, guys. I'm not trying to laugh, but I'll be damned if I believe it's all just coincidence. Okay, it's not. We're still on track. We're still focused. We're still talking about the Ring of Fire, and it's actually leading us to understand all these broken and fragmented clues. Okay, we got stuff like Mirror Park. Okay, and like, okay, basically look at that volcano. You see how you can kind of get the mirror effect from it, how it's exploding out of the volcano, the eruption, and it's kind of like the same shape as the volcano is. That is something that is also mentioned time and time again in the game. We got a radio station, we got a park, both called Mirror Park. I mean, Epsilon even talk about, you know, mirrored things and having things backwards. And guys, I mean, when you have everything on one page backing each other up, you kind of can't refute it anymore. I mean, I hope you guys are on board with me, and I hope you guys see this stuff, because we need to work together and get this motherfucker solved. Isn't it strange how we have a giant sea plant right next to the observatory? Like, what is it doing there? Guys, that's a huge clue, and it's going to lead to answers, and one of the answers is going to be the whole mystery behind the SpiderWebs. Check this out, okay? These sea plants, they're pretty much scarce in the Pacific, alright? But for some reason, they are heavily populated at these underwater volcanoes. Okay, one of them underwater volcanoes is called the Cobb Seamount. Now, guys, look at what Rockstar did. Cobweb on Mount Chiliad, which is a volcano, okay, and Cobb Seamount is where this sea plant is found. Do you guys see? It's all making sense. This is all going full circle, okay? There's a star on this plant, okay? They made sure that there was a star on it. Right next to the observatory. Shoot for the stars, okay? And if we would have taken that route, we would have still got to the same answer, because we have tsunamis that are caused by the tides, by the stars. So they gave us two ways to get to the same place, and we haven't gone to either of them. I mean, I'm happy though. I'm happy that we finally got some of this stuff solved, that, you know, it's all making sense. Now we just have to pinpoint how to trigger all this stuff to happen, okay? We got the crazy fragmented mini mysteries pretty much knocked out of the water, if you will. But I wasn't kidding when I said that they gave us two different routes to get to the same place. Now, the Ring of Fire that we've been talking about this whole time is located on the Pacific Rim, and it's, you know, home to the massive underwater volcanoes and volcanoes that cause earthquakes and tsunamis and shit. But there's another Ring of Fire, okay? And it lines up with all the clues that we've been finding that lead to astrology. So we have evidence backing up both ways, okay? But both ways ultimately do lead to a natural disaster. So I can pretty much say I'm confident that one is in the game. We just have to trigger it. Check this out. Depending on where you are along the eclipse line, this eclipse will either look like a total eclipse or an annular eclipse. The latter creates a ring of fire because the moon is not quite large enough from that angle to cover the full disk of the sun. Hybrid eclipses, now let me stop myself, they've been, showing the Voltic and different hybrid cars or electric cars in this game off, so that's something, that they're using to their advantage to do a duality with, but hybrid eclipses are quite rare. The eclipse shadow, itself will mostly fall over the African continent, but will also be partially visible from some parts of the North and South America and Southern Europe. Okay, the shadow is visible in some parts and not other parts. Guys, isn't that how the shadows are in this game? Like, they're found that way certain times here or there. Like, they're pretty much staying true to all this stuff as it is in real life. They're just putting twists on it, and they're being very clever about how they go about giving off their clues, guys. It's just ridiculous. You're gonna see a lot of the whole enlightenment stuff being tied directly to the astrology aspect also. It says here, a gentle family of eclipses which brings a sense of inspiration, the sudden release of material from the unconscious, which brings with it a great deal of insight. These ideas are good, and the individual would be wise to act on them. Wise like an owl, there's just so much stuff, and enlightenment is part of the process, okay? Self-actualization, understanding everything. It takes a little bit of being enlightened. It really does. Now that we have a decent understanding of what's going on, things are making sense, I kind of want to go explore the rest of the game. But I got to make sure that I, explore this whole entire area first. There's still stuff to be found, and this is what led us to what we know. Right here, the NEW in Vinewood seems to be brightest. It's lit up. It's standing, apart from the rest of the word. And that makes complete sense. After doing the research, that makes complete sense to me. I can see that clue, for what it is. I see it take form. The truth is now in front of me. Okay, guys? The new moon is what we need. We need a new moon or a full moon for the eclipse. Well, that clue being understood kind of gives us a little bit more insight. Maybe we do need a new moon. Okay, so that's something to keep in our back pocket. But these clues would have went on without us understanding them and being able to have reserves for the future when it's time to try to get triggers, Instead of wasting our time with a full moon first, we should probably try a new moon because, the journey that we're on. Basically, guys, a lot of these words on this page you're going to notice are very similar to some words in Grand Theft Auto 5. Check it out. Sextile, that's a lot like textile City, okay? Now, mind you, all this stuff is like astrology, and I just told you enlightenment and self-actualization, that's all tied in with astrology. And what's in Textile City? The Sinner's Passage mural. The one that basically says, it's not that you got to the end, it's the journey that matters. That's all part of being enlightened, guys. It's all making sense, okay? We have Apex, that's tied directly to the Banshee's description, and the Banshee is, directly tied to mythology. So, all this stuff that was fragmented clues, it's all tied in, dude. It all makes sense. Okay, Arc is a common, word within the volcanoes. It's with the astrology. It's very common, and I've always wondered why Animal Arc had that symbol with them in an ark, like in Noah's Ark, with the flood. I never understood that. Now it's just like a subliminal clue. I get it. There's going to be a flood because there's a tsunami. Got it. The eclipse, it sits on the Sabian symbol. Sabian, kind of like Fabian? Oh, Fabian. Well, he does do yoga, and, he likes eclipses and stars and stuff, right? Basically, I get it. I got it. I hopefully you guys get it and got it, because this is definitely stuff that we need to move forward. So I do want you guys to let me know in the comments too what you think of all this. Hopefully you know, you guys utilize the comments, and if you guys are new, definitely hit the subscribe button and like the video if you liked it, because I am going to be coming out with more content, and you guys don't want to miss out on any of the future hunts. As we progress through the rest of this little area, it's very, very odd. I showed this to you guys in a video previously, but I didn't have the understanding I have now. This is like just crazy. It could be symbolic. There's a lot that you can get from this. I have to look at it a little bit harder, but that jet that's flying, it kind of looks like a laser, like right for Zancudo, and there's a conveniently placed opening for like a sun or a moon to maybe cast a shadow, you know, from above, and that actually happened to me. If that laser jet or whatever is Fort Zancudo, you see the pyramid that's forming with the shadow? That's lining up perfectly to be in position where Mount Chiliad would be. So, I mean, Mount Chiliad, the volcano, I mean, on the left of it we have Vinewood, where the NEW is lit up, basically hinting at a new moon, eclipse, tsunami, natural disaster, Mount Chiliad, volcano, natural disaster. I mean, it's just basically subliminal little hints everywhere. This is also the location of the infamous Red Dead Redemption Easter egg, and I just never took the real clue from that. There's a full moon on the actual Red Dead Redemption part of the wall, and then on the other side we have another one, but it seems like almost like chaos is happening. Maybe that is a clue to a natural disaster as well. Let me know what you guys think. If you go back to where Einstein is and then move right over to this mural, you'll see something that's very suspicious. And I want to throw a theory out at you guys. Most of this video has been evidence and proof, but here's an idea. Let me know what you guys think. Basically, if you guys watched my video the other day, I showed me rappelling off of the building, and in the glass of the building it showed the reflection of the mountains, but they looked more like pyramids, and that's kind of the vibe I'm getting from this right here. And you see how it's kind of like separated from top to bottom horizontally? Okay, you got a nice separation there, and one can kind of look at this in different ways. You know, eyes, you got the eyes right there. They've been stressing perspective. Rockstar has been stressing and stressing that. So if you want to take a look at things in a different perspective, maybe Rockstar's being a little bit more clever than we anticipated. We've talked about this time and time again about other video games having the same clues as the Chiliad Mystery. Like, two completely different games, but they have the same symbolism and, you know, a lot of the same stuff. And basically, you notice it a lot with genre games that are alike, okay? I'm doing a current playthrough of Uncharted 4, and that's a, you know, like a mystery type game. And since we're playing Grand Theft Auto and working on the mystery, it's not too far-fetched to think that, you know, crazy, insane, clever minds think alike, and maybe these developers do too. Let me show you something that was done in Uncharted 4.
That's more like it. Okay, got a zodiac symbol. Sagittarius. And the Scorpio sign.
So he folded the paper in half to complete the image to see, you know, how it comes together. Now, we know that the Sinner's Passage mural, this one right here, is in direct line with Mount Chiliad's mural, okay? A straight up and down line. Now, that mural on the wall by Einstein with the eyes, okay, that's folded in half horizontally, just like the piece of paper was in the Uncharted reference. if you think about it, it's really not that far-fetched to have that kind of a theory, because basically Rockstar does, influence the way we see things. They really want us to, have different perspectives, and they do relate the mountains to pyramids a lot. It's a very common thing, okay? And the Great Pyramid, I mean, there's examples of pyramids actually being, maps themselves. Like, knowing when this pyramid was started, when it was built, you would have to wait until a certain star would align with it so perfectly that it would reveal certain things to people studying it. So there is definitely ways science is manipulated to actually hold secrets, especially if you look at history. I really can't explain this. It's very hard. I mean, it took me a while to understand it, and I really want opinions on this. This might be another way the cobweb was used as a clue, and this might be the method used to actually read the Chiliad mural and solve it right here and now. Let me know if anyone comes up with anything. Going back to my theory on the two murals being put together, I mean, what if these lines are the different paths we take throughout the game? One leads us to, spaceships, aliens. The X's could be like the different heists that we do along the way. And then finally the middle is our path to enlightenment, okay? And then once we have an understanding and we're enlightened, we can follow a straight path without getting caught up in the twists and turns to cracking the Easter egg and solving the mystery. It could be a way to look at it. I mean, let me know what you guys think. But either way, we can almost be guaranteed that we're going to have a natural disaster like a tsunami at the end of this game. I mean, everything points to it. Alright, but once that happens, guys, then what? Don't forget about all of the awesome stuff that you learned along the way. You're not going to take GTA 5 with you forever. You're going to be playing different games. So make sure that the journey was a good and fun one.
It's the journey that matters, not the destination.
It's a position, a fucking viewpoint, all right? Like God, like evolution, like anything else. Sunshine, boredom, lies, that's what we got. Other people, they have other worlds, but for me...
Along the way, I figured out what it means to be alive. Well then, let's just make this a little spiritual and say I'm on a thought journey.
Do you understand that?
That is about all for today, guys. I really do believe there's a volcano underwater, maybe near Chiliad, and it's going to definitely erupt. It's going to affect the plates of the earth, and there's going to be an earthquake, and there is going to be a tsunami. Okay, either that or it's going to be through the tides and the sun or moon phases. Which way do you think it's going to happen? Let me know your thoughts, your comments in the comments section below. If you liked this video or if it helped you out at all, please leave me a like. And if you're new, please hit the subscribe button. You don't want to miss out on any future content. You guys are awesome. Thank you so much for jumping in and joining me today. It's been an honor and a pleasure. I'll see you guys in the next video or broadcast. All of my information is in the description, so feel free to hit me up. And I also added some external links for you guys to check out this information I brought to you today directly. So hopefully you guys enjoyed everything. Thank you so much again. I will see you guys in the next video or broadcast. Have a good one. Take it easy. And until next time, let's end this one with a rim job. Peace.